Welcome, everyone. We will be looking at chapter number 5, which is purely based on technology and the impact of information technology and information systems on business and performance management. So, the bulk of it's a fairly straightforward concept, especially given the days and age we are living in the world, where technology has become such an integral part of our life that we are not so like we don't seem to be so alienated. I mean, 10 years ago when I was teaching the subject, this chapter was like it didn't even exist. By 2013, the chapter slowly came into the picture in your SCCA syllabus, in fact. And then by 2015-16, it was a few pages. But now you will notice, especially in the third element, IT developments, you will see how many new points or new types of technology have been introduced. So that's what we are going to look at. To start with, we have to understand that this is all about management information, information technology, information systems. So information is the common word there, right? Technology we use to generate and analyze and evaluate and gather intelligence through the information. So the technology is just a tool. It's a means of acquiring and using and uh, making the business perform well. You only can do it with information. So information is the critical component here. um, Managers need access to good information for planning, decision making, and control. Obviously, right? You have the better information you have, the better your decision making becomes, the better your planning becomes, the better your processes become. So, what do we mean by good information? Generally, we couple it or bring it down to the acronym accurate. I know you've looked at most of these things in SBL, so we're gonna briefly look at them, but it will be a good refresher. You can read your book on your own time. The acronym accurate acts as a valid explanation and description to what good information means. So good information has to be accurate, complete. The cost of gaining that information has to be less than the benefit. There has to be some kind of a better or plus side on the benefit that you gain by trying to develop that information, extract that information rather than the cost. It has to be understandable, it has to be relevant, it has to be adaptable to every situation. You should be able to use that information to whatever situations, whatever circumstances that you're facing. It has to come timely. I mean, getting even the right information late is not value adding at all. So you have to get it right on time or before when you need it, and it has to be easy to use. So those are the few elements that are critical. You can read the entire table. Okay, from where do we source information? Information can come from two sources mainly: internal sources and external sources, as far as an organization is concerned. So, internal sources are essentially your company, what is generated as information from within the company, from the employees, from the internal communications, from the leadership, from all the staff predominantly. So that information, we call it internal information. As you know, even if you're considering the Oxford Brookes University, the research and analysis project, there are topics that requires internal information and there are topics that require external information. There are topics that require both. So that's the understanding. It's internal information has its own kind of advantages, given that it's your information. You can use it freely, you have access to it freely. But the disadvantages is that if you purely look at your internal information, then you're just being kind of short-sighted, and you're not really taking the full picture in. So the second source of information is external sources of information. It's basically information that is coming out of your organization, right, out of your spectrum of control. So it has a lot of benefits, because it's vast today, especially in the day of internet where we live in. Google, you have a plethora of external information that you can use freely in the public domain. You can buy information. There are companies that sell information. All the big four firms have intelligence related, information related advisory arms. There are Nielsen such as Nielsen rating agencies. There are Fitch, Poor, Standard, S&P, Standard and Poor, and Fitch and Moody's. These organizations predominantly rely on internet research and information and intelligence provision. There are a lot of companies, medium-sized, small-sized companies that provide research and intelligence and information as their business. I mean, that's what they do. So, external information is a big deal now. And basing your decisions based on external information is really good. But however, there are challenges, especially sifting through information. A lot of information is available, so sifting, organizing it, sorting it out can be challenging. You have to pay lots of money. It can be very costly, because of the attachment of prices to good information. Most of the information that you have access to freely cannot be relied on greatly. If you take an organization like statista.com, you know that when you want to find something, when you're doing a research, there will be a few graphs, few pieces of tables that are useful, but you do know that when you want to get like really deep into the subject, you have to start paying. So that model is increasingly becoming common with internet external information. And you never know about the accuracy and those kind of things until you kind of test it out, and put it out there, maybe get criticized for the information, etc. That is why it's very important that you don't plagiarize and that you always mention the source of your information. But end of the day, for an organization, both internal and external information is critical. Which brings us to the next segment. So this is just understanding information by and large, very briefly, very quickly. They are very easy to understand. When you try to categorize or classify information, you can look at it both from a financial, non-financial angle, or quantitative and qualitative angle. Now, financial information is, of course, quantitative, right? Financial, it's numerical information, so it is quantitative data. But non-financial information, you can have it in subjective terms or qualitative terms, or you can have it on quantitative terms as well, like what I mentioned, customer rating. Traditionally, you would have thought that something like customer feedback is purely qualitative. You have to listen to the customer. You have to listen to what their opinion is. But what did the 5-star approach do, technology do? It's that it quantified. Now you have 4.5 or 4.3 or whatever. It quantified that subjective metric of customer feedback today, to the point that we rely on it as a number, a quantitative figure, not a qualitative figure. So this is the understanding that you can have about the different classifications of information. We will touch on the challenges regarding different classifications of information in a different chapter, and that marks the end of that introduction element to information, which brings us to systems. Right? How now we are going to integrate technology, and we're going to talk about information systems and information technology in the context of managing information for the business performance management objective. Thank you and good luck.